In episode number 203, we cover the latest Pokemon Go updates. Are they good? Are they bad? We'll give you our thoughts.
We also have the early critical reception to Suicide Squad. Why are critics and fans at each other's throats yet again? Haven't seen this since BVS.
And our comic book highlight of this week is going to be Adventure Time Comics number 1. Moving in a little bit of a different direction than what we've seen, and both of us are enjoying it. We can't wait to let you know.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you here for the very first time, welcome to the show. This is the greatest podcast you're ever going to listen to. It's the only podcast I listen to, and I only listen to quality. So the way we format our show is first we're going to start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, all the things that make us so broke each and every week, and we follow up with a comic book highlight of the week.
So I finally started taking an important step in my Blu-ray collection.
Yes.
I saved up enough to get season 2 of Bruce Timm's Justice League cartoon.
Finally!
I got season 1 probably half a year ago. Saved up enough, got season 2. I shouldn't say Bruce Timm's. I mean, he designed some of it, but it was really Dwayne McDuffie's show. Mm-hmm. And I next have Justice League Unlimited on my radar for completing my little collection. And then eventually, if they ever fucking do Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray, I can collect that next.
Of course. I imagine they will. They're releasing enough Batman the Animated Series stuff now, like testing the waters, seeing if they still keep this momentum the more things they bring out. They're just building up for that Blu-ray release.
Like all of these action figures even. I just got the Ra's al Ghul that came in this week. That Ra's al Ghul action figure. I love it. I can't wait for Talia to come in. And they're slowly bringing out all of these waves from Bruce Timm's universe.
Wave after wave. Wave after wave from Bruce Timm's universe. All pretty cool things. For those of you, again, who haven't listened to our podcast, we are huge Batman the Animated Series fans. Particularly Daniel with his half fucking sleeve on his arm of all the characters.
Of cartoon characters?
Yes. So
not real characters?
If they do bring out a Blu-ray release, I think we alone will be supporting that entire movement.
An angry movement right now on the internet. There's so much, I don't even know if it's nerd rage, it's just rage in general. I'm going to call it nerd rage because I'm going to point out the silliness of this whole thing in a minute. But Pokemon Go has received an update on iOS and Android devices. And these changes do include the following.
Avatar customization from the trainer profile screen. So originally, once you create your avatar, that was it. You were stuck forever.
Also refined gym animations.
Never been to a gym, wouldn't know what that is. Adjusted battle move values for some Pokemon.
So Vaporeon got weakened because that was one of the ones that was one of the strongest in the game. Right. People were just popping Vaporeons in gyms. Well, one of the moves got weakened a little bit.
Okay.
There's also improved memory issues, which is awesome. You want your as few resources as possible to be used by this app on your phone.
They also removed the footprints from nearby Pokemon. So
that's
originally,
the big one.
It was 3 footprints for everybody. Those bitches be gone.
They weren't working already. Like it was just 3 footprints for everyone. And I never played the game when they were working. Was the idea that 1 footprint meant it was really close and 3 meant it was really far? So
the first day I downloaded the game, this was actually working. So the very first time I played it. And 1 footprint under it meant it was really close, 2 was farther away, and 3 was, of course, the farthest. So the idea was as you're walking and it says a Pokemon is nearby, you know, you saw that 1 footprint, you're like, oh, I'm getting close, and if it jumped to 2, then you know you went the wrong way.
The final update was an updated images for all of the medals in the game. So all the little goals that you meet, they kind of made them a little nicer. The footprint update was actually what completely, and I don't know if it was directly that, or maybe it was Niantic and Nintendo going after Pokevision, but Pokevision no longer works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did cause Pokevision to discontinue its third-party Pokemon locator service. And this thing was fucking great.
I never used it. I've seen other people use it, but you had it up on your browser, right?
Yeah, you just went to pokevision.com and you type in the zip code or a keyword. So, like, you could type in Walt Disney World, and it would take you there, and it would show you what Pokemon were currently spawning in which locations and for how much longer they were going to be there.
Made it really useful because that 3 footprint thing didn't tell you what direction you needed to go in when you were catching these Pokemon. And with Pokevision, you pulled it up, and it would ping based on the services that Pokemon Go used, and it would tell you, okay, this Pokemon just generated in this area. So you would head to that area. We used it for Vulpix when we caught it that weekend, and we head there, and there's the Vulpix, and you catch it, and it tells you, gives you a little timer, like, we have 5 minutes left, guys, we have to run over there and catch it right now. And then it would tell you the rest of the Pokemon. Anything that was harder to catch, like Vulpix, for example, you would be able to locate, find it, catch it, no problem. The other day when we were at the mall, there was a Magmar somewhere in the vicinity, and you only have, 15 minutes to catch it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we did not run into it. Before, if you had Pokevision, you'd be like, okay, we have to go to Dillard's or wherever. You head over there, and then you see the Magmar, catch it, no problem. But unfortunately, missed out on it. Because there is no working application or working feature on Pokemon Go right now that lets you catch these Pokemon or find them easier.
And this is what people had a fit about. Even to the point where I think you were telling me some people were, like, uninstalling the game. Like, nope, fucking done with this. Peace.
They're uninstalling the game. They're asking for refunds on all of their purchases in the app. They are raging over this thing. Like, the first thing that really messed up with Pokemon Go, it had an amazing launch. People everywhere loved it. They were getting together. They were having fun with it. And then when they didn't fix the 3 footprint thing, people were getting a little bit upset. Like, they're not fixing it. The servers weren't working. And what they did instead is they removed all of the footprint features. So now you no longer know where the Pokemon are, where it's going to be near to. But they also, this update disabled Pokemon Vision. And part of that, too, was the company that tweeted about Pokemon Vision is they said they want to go ahead and honor Nintendo's request. So Nintendo did put out something to them, probably a cease and desist, telling them not to use that service anymore and not to make it available.
But that's the thing that gets me about that is that's so stupid. Like, what, they weren't losing any money by Pokevision being there. They were losing nothing. They were having more people play the game and play it for longer amounts of time, so they ran out of Pokeballs and had to buy more Pokeballs. Unless Pokemon was ready to roll out their own and say, what Pokemon should have done is worked with the creators of Pokevision and said, look, we want to make this under our umbrella. You made this great thing that's awesome. Let us compensate you in some way to put this under our umbrella.
I think Niantic and Nintendo have to go into damage control at this point because people are very upset. They don't have Pokevision. They're not finding Pokemon as easily. And the updates aren't rolling out enough improvements to satisfy the gamers out there. Now, this is where I point out, it's a free fucking app.
Yep.
Like, there's people that have spent money on it, and I can sort of understand that they were using Pokevision and they spent money on items, on Pokeball, on incubators. Sure, you were relying on Pokevision to enhance your experience. But knowing that it's a third-party app and knowing who Nintendo is, how long did you expect Pokevision to last? Like, honestly, how long until we were all just counting the days until that whole service was going to be pulled down? Because they use actual Pokemon images on the site, which is already a thing that's like, well, I don't think they can really do that. Nintendo's very protective of that brand.
Then Nintendo, like I said, just needs to work with them and get it back up. I still enjoy the game without Pokevision. I will say since the update, it's harder to catch Pokemon.
That's the other thing.
Which is frustrating as fuck. Because I'm like, you're a level 10 Weedle. Why are you popping out of, like, Pokeballs? This makes no sense. And, I never really followed that thing where it said which Pokemon were closest to me. Because random ass shit would pop up all the time. Like, the ones that it said was close would never pop up. And then, like, a Nidoran female, which wasn't even on the list, would pop up. But the fact that, if I had something where I could look and say, okay, so what's going on down the street over there, where all those Pokestops are, and I could see there's 5 Pokemon I want to catch, yeah, I'd get up out of my house and I'd go catch them. And maybe I would expand my bag, because right now I only have 198 Pokeballs left.
That's pretty low for you.
That is. I'm usually up in, like, the 2-somethings. And that's not including my Great Balls, which are up around, like, 80 or 60 something.
I'm saving my Great Balls for that moment when they finally decide, hey everyone, Articuno, when they decide McDonald's paid to have Articuno at their locations. So you have to go to a McDonald's to catch Articunos. Nearest McDonald's to you, catch it over there. That's what I'm waiting for, because I know they're going to do that. Some companies bidding to have certain legendaries available exclusively at their stores, and that's where I'm going to have to use the Pokeballs, the Great Balls, the fucking candy, the raspberries, all of that shit.
Okay, but you know you're going to hit many more Pokestops along the way to pick that shit up.
But I don't come across Great Balls all that often.
Oh man, I come across them all the time. I've been using them left and right, and I still pick up more.
No way.
You want to know why? No. You want to know why I use so many Pokeballs, though? Because my bag is fucking full, okay? I cannot fit any more things in my bag. I even deleted all, like, my potions and my super potions. I had, like 80-something super potions, and I deleted them all. My revives are gone. I just have the bare essentials, my Pokeballs, and my Great Balls, and my raspberries.
But you don't plan on fighting any gyms anyway. Nope. You don't need any revives. Nope. You don't need any potions.
Nope. And what level am I now?
You are level 14.
Level 14. And which team did I pick?
Zero team.
You're
on Team Kelli.
I'm on Team
Kelli.
I have not been to any gyms. Every time I click a gym and it's like, oh, which team do you want to be on? I'm like, fuck, close the app. Get out of it. Still haven't picked. And I'm not going to. If I did pick, I would probably be Team Instinct, personally. But there's just so much rivalry and, like, prejudice. I just like to be that neutral party that just, like, spreads love and welcoming to all Pokemon everywhere.
That does sound like Team Instinct.
It is Team Instinct.
Just choose Team Instinct.
I'm not going to choose Team Instinct.
Make the one brokehead Team Instinct out there happy.
I want to go through this entire fucking game without ever picking a team. I want to be the only person in the world who's doing that right now. Because everybody's bandwagoning with their friends, and I'm over here like, no, I'm going to be my own person.
You got to be Team Mystic.
Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be any team, no teams.
Onto the actual money-making side of Pokemon, the handheld games. They released an all-new trailer with new forms, new Pokemon, unexpected.
This is for Pokemon games Sun and Moon. Moon will clearly be the more superior game. I'm just saying. But yes, very unexpected, but they showed some great things that didn't make me too angry.
Not too angry?
Not
normally
too angry.
You're a little upset by these
Normally there's lots of rage, but there's not today.
The new things do not upset Kelli.
Nope.
The biggest one being Alola forms.
Yes, Alola forms. I keep saying Aloha forms. But they are Alola forms. So, these are forms, of course, specific to this game, and then you also have forms specific to the different islands in the game.
It's basically real evolution brought to the Pokemon games. And what this means is they're taking classic Pokemon and they are reinventing them, giving them new types. So, for example, the new Alola forms for classic Pokemon from the original 151 are so far revealed Exeggutor.
That one's weird. I don't like that one.
Vulpix.
Yes.
Ninetales.
Yes.
Sandshrew.
Yes.
And Sandslash.
No.
So first, Exeggutor. It is available now as a grass and dragon type.
Weird.
Completely changed its form, too.
You mean a palm tree type?
It's a fucking real palm tree. That's a Florida palm tree now.
It is. I didn't know our palm trees had multiple heads and walked around.
It's giant, super long fucking neck. Compared to the regular Exeggutor, I don't even know. Like, that doesn't look like a palm tree now. Like, this is a real palm tree.
Okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Was Execute ever a grass type? Is he grass type or is he bug? Is he grass?
He's not bug. No, he's grass. Grass psychic. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, who looked at Exeggutor and said, "Oh, palm tree"?
A lot of the original Pokemon don't make sense. People, Gen 1ers that try to defend the original designs.
I will defend them till I die.
Then you just pointed out a big flaw in Exeggutor.
What? That they made him into a palm tree?
Yes, even the original design is supposed to be a palm tree.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a little silly fat person.
It's a tree.
How do we go from eggs to palm trees?
I don't know. How do we go from Execute to Exeggutor? How do we go from little eggs to a tree?
They were all stuck together and they grew a body.
Okay, they were all stuck together and they grew a body that resembles a tree.
No, they grew a big old long neck. I'm so confused. I don't like him.
Well, he's a dragon type.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's a dragon type now.
I would make him like fucking palm tree type.
The Vulpix and Ninetales. These are now ice and fairy, whereas before they were fire.
That's pretty awesome.
I love it. I think it's really cool. I think the new entry on the Pokedex says that they were brought over along with humans to the islands, and then they adapted over time to this certain mountain that had colder weather. So that is now real evolution in the Pokemon world.
Absolutely amazing. And of course, the last ones we have are Sandshrew and Sandslash, which are now Ice Steel.
Sandshrew and Sandslash. The design almost looks the same. They just, I mean, for both of these, they just changed the colors, gave them a typing.
They changed them a little bit. Ninetales is more whimsical.
A little bit more whimsical.
Okay. Sandshrew has an igloo on his head.
But it still had those designs before.
But he had an igloo. Sandslash has little ice picks for claws. Did you not notice that?
Well, he had regular claws before, too.
Yeah, but now he has ice picks for claws.
Like it fits. I think it fits.
Like they curve in.
I'll have to look at it
ice
again.
Picks.
But, like, the changes are minimal. Like, it's a huge color change, color swap. Oh, you could almost pass these off as shinies. But then the typing makes sense. Like, Sandshrew...
I wonder what the shinies are going to look like.
That's what some people were saying. Like,
Cool.
Vulpix is already... Ninetales is already like a blue-silver, which almost matches this. So they're wondering if it's maybe going to look like the regular Ninetales, but in ice form.
That'd be cool.
Another thing people were confused about is whether or not these new forms are going to be completely new Pokedex entries, count as new Pokemon, or treat them like the Mega Evolutions, in which they're just different forms to the same Pokemon.
I would see it that way, probably, because is their entry really going to change? I don't know, I haven't read their entry. Let's pull up my Bulbapedia and check.
Well, the entries treat them as if they're new Pokemon, because they do give them the history, they talk about how they adapt over time.
Yeah, but, like, their original entries, do they talk about how they're fire types or anything like that? Oh, yeah. It can freely control fire. Okay, well. Alright, Vulpix. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. Maybe, I don't know.
I think they'll call them Vulpix still. And then it'll just have a new form when you catch it on a certain island.
Yeah. They do also have that weird little bird of this game. There's 4 different forms of him.
Yeah.
Depending on, there's like pom-pom version and cockatiel version and parrot version. I don't even remember. Oh, the psychic one was my favorite. The ghost one. He had little fans. He was like...
Those are really cool. I think they'll come in handy during competitive battles because of all the copying abilities they have, a lot of boosting moves. I can't wait to see someone out there use that in their team to really boost the rest of their fucking Pokemon.
Also in this game, it looks like we have a new dynamic for gyms. So, of course, in the past, it's walk in, beat all them motherfuckers, walk out with a badge. Now you walk in, and some greedy little asshole kid's like, I need you to go catch fish for me. And you got to run around actually going on missions. And then it seems, and the video wasn't really super, super clear about it, but it seems once you complete the mission, then you have the option to fight the Kahuna. And he's essentially the gym leader. And once you beat the Kahuna, then you can fight a super powered up version of a Pokemon. Super strong one, just a regular ass Pokemon. So the one they showed...
Probably a perfect IV Pokemon.
I mean, probably. The one they showed in this particular video was evolved Donald Trump. And you fought him, and he's got this little glow around him. And when you beat... I guess you catch him.
Or you beat him, and then you get the badge. Like, it's a new change to, as you mentioned, the whole gym format. People are always asking for something fresh, something new out of the Pokemon series, and now they're getting it. And, of course, you're hearing, well, where are the regular gyms? Well, here's something new, guys.
Well, now you got Kahunas.
You got fucking Kahunas.
Which sounds like cojones, which means balls, so...
That's probably where the training will come in. Hey, go get this item for me, and along the way, you'll run into trainers, you'll run into all new Pokemon, into all new items. And then once you come back and fight the Kahuna, then you get the badge or whatever they end up giving you this time. The coconut. Ceremonial coconut.
Maybe they'll just give you lays. You get just different color lays as you go.
And your character weighs it, or wears it completely.
That'd be so cool.
More layers as the game continues.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
The flowers would get real smelly. There was one more thing. Oh, the big the Z moves.
Z moves, yeah. Z moves, you have to have... Your character gets a bracelet. It's kind of like the Mega Evolution. And then you have a stone in there. That stone has to match the typing of the Pokemon that you want to use the Z move for. And then the move they have to match the typing of your stone. So there's a lot of things you have... A lot of hoops you have to jump through to actually...
A lot of hoopas to jump through?
To actually perform the Z moves. And the Z moves are going to work as Mega Evolutions, where you can only use it once per battle, but it's like an all-out attack for your Pokemon. And so far, we've seen that with Pikachu was the one Pokemon that I saw it for. All the starters have it as well.
It'll add an interesting dynamic to, I guess, competitive fighting because, you could go in and decimate somebody's best Pokemon in one move, essentially. Do I competitive fight? No. No, I do not.
I don't as often anymore. I definitely used to, and I still have my competitive team saved in X and Y. No, Ruby and Sapphire. And I will be transferring them over to Sun and Moon, and maybe I'll have some battles just to see how the old Pokemon hold up still. But everyone knows my strategy. It's just poison, protect, seismic toss, heal, protect, and just watch you as you slowly poison.
Hate that shit. You know what? My attack is Z move, Z move, Z move.
You just choose the strongest attack every time.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm like, let me power up and let me power up to the point where the strongest it wastes time, but then your strongest attack is like a quarter of the damage that it would normally do. So which frustrates players because they're like, it's a fucking tank. You have a tank of a Pokemon. I'm like, it's called Chansey. Chansey will, yes, it is a tank, and it slowly kills you.
My Chansey will fucking murder you. But Chansey's supposed to heal people.
It heals itself. It heals my battles. Heals my victory sides right there. Adds another tick to the victories. That's what it's healing. My ego.
It's healing your
my
soul.
Self-confidence.
I just Z move all the time. Thunder, it only hits like 2% of the time. Fine, if I can use it.
See, and that's
Hydro
the difference.
Pump? Yeah, cool.
Difference between you and I would go with Thunderbolt instead of Thunder. I would never teach it Thunder. Solar Beam sometimes, but instead of Fire Blast, I'd always do Flamethrower. It's weaker, but it's always going to hit.
Boring.
And I get like 20 of this bitches. I only get 5 for the Fire Blast.
Boring. That's why you use PP ups or whatever.
So you get 8?
Yep.
8 Fire Blasts?
Yep. Did that shit. One time, I didn't know what a PP up was, but I ran out of the move, so I just, used it, and I got one more. I'm like, this is exciting!
Away from the Pokemon Go cast, and into the actual superhero news for today.
So it's been made public by Warner Brothers that Jeff Johns has been promoted to president of DC Entertainment back in May.
Probably explains why Jeff Johns only did the DC Universe Rebirth special and hasn't taken on another book since then. This adds on to his titles of co-head of DC Films and DC's Entertainment's Chief Creative Officer.
That's crazy, but great for him and even greater for us.
Fans are fucking happy. They love Jeff Johns. Everyone loves Jeff Johns. He did amazing things for the Green Lantern universe. Is doing some really good stuff for Rebirth right now.
I think he's going to do great in this new role, too. I think we're going to see absolutely amazing things. If he's coming in here and looking at stories and saying, no, this is what we need to tweak, this is what we need, his stories are phenomenal. Some of the best DC stories I have ever read. Can we put him in charge of the Green Lantern movie, please? Please, somebody.
He did work on the Green Lantern movie, that one from years ago.
Oh, no. He didn't work on it well enough.
It seems like now he has more influence, though, many years later. And he is co-writing the Batman movie with Ben Affleck.
You know what he worked on with that Green Lantern movie? He told them not to do that shit. And they're like, we're going to do it anyway. And then when it flopped, they're like, oh, Jeff Johns worked on it.
Possibly. He was just on set.
Yep.
Just on the background.
He brought them some coffee, some donuts.
How far into Jeff Johns' promotion do you think he has to be in to actually affect the future of the DC movies? He got his promotion back in May. Do you think he did anything to change Suicide Squad, which came out this weekend? Or do you think Justice League right now is being changed and affected? How about Wonder Woman, which is also next year?
I don't think he did anything to change Suicide Squad because by May, boom, it's already done. And you don't want to bust up into a new role and be like, I'm making all these changes, fuck you all. You can't do that. But I think moving forward, we will see his influence in some of these other movies, even as soon as, definitely I believe Justice League and Wonder Woman, he would possibly have a bigger influence on because, like you mentioned, Justice League has only been filming for 2 months. There's no reason he can't go in and say, look, let's tweak this scene a little bit, let's do this a little bit differently, and move on from there.
So you're saying Wonder Woman, he probably doesn't have or does have an influence with
sure
Justice League?
But I'm just giving the example of Justice League. It's very new into, its creative process.
People were, and we haven't seen Suicide Squad at the moment of this recording, but people were saying that Suicide Squad was going to be what they count on to kind of course correct the future of the DC cinematic universe. If that's not the case, and I don't know how it is, and we're going to talk about the early reception so far, But if that's not the case, then it will look like Wonder Woman and Justice League will be that new direction for the DC movies in the future.
Hopefully, and I'm still holding out hope that Suicide Squad is good. And I still think that it probably will be, even though others may not think so. But, you know, from the early previews of Wonder Woman, that looks like it's going to be an amazing movie, too. And I think no matter what DC puts out, you're still going to have fans who are going to go see it. And yes, I hope they put out the best of the best. But I think right now, as much negative criticism that DC films are getting right now, that people always look at the next one and say, well, maybe this will be the jumpstart. Well, maybe this will be the jumpstart. And they're still going to be able to pull people along, at least for a while longer, until they can get that one big thing that just skyrockets.
The more optimistic fans, for sure. Because now I'm running into this, being the DC fanboy that I am, I'm running into this part of fandom from other people, from the other side, from people that like the Marvel movies. And just people on my friends list, people on Twitter, people on Facebook that are trashing Batman v Superman, for example. It just had the Ultimate Edition come out, so it kind of got back in the news again, talking about how garbage BVS was in their opinion, and how Suicide Squad probably wouldn't be the thing for him. So I always like to ask the question of, okay, so you're not seeing Justice League then, right? Because it's the same writer, same director, same cast. Oh, no, I'm still seeing Justice League.
Okay.
Like, that still it doesn't fit in my fucking head. It doesn't make sense to me because when I don't like something, I don't see the sequel. I don't continue buying it. And you seeing it, you supporting it, even if you're like, oh, I donated blood and I got this ticket, so I'm not paying for it. It's still getting credit for it.
Right.
They're still getting their money by you going in there and seeing it. All of that, you are supporting it. You're talking about it. If you don't like something, you stop talking about it. You don't support it. You don't go see it. And that's what baffles me about these things. And of course, they're allowed to go see it. They're allowed to do what they want. But it's just weird to me that part doesn't make sense to me because don't like Batman v Superman. Why would you watch Justice League then? But I think it's just so that they can go there and they want the negative spectacle. They want to complain and they want to be the ones that are right and say, see, I told you so. Because that's so fucking important to a lot of these people right now. I don't know why, and maybe that's just the negative structure and the negative thriving that we do as a society. But it's so much easier to just trash on someone else's work and say, I knew it, look at that, that's garbage, than to recognize something that's good and say, hey, look at that, it surprised me and it's actually pretty decent. You don't see that as often.
I think beyond that, too, they also don't want to be the only person in their friends who haven't seen it.
That's a big thing,
right. If you've all seen it, you can all shit on it, and that's real cool. But if you say, oh, no, I haven't seen it, and you're the one person who hasn't seen a movie that's this big, that's a different story.
And staying on the same topic, I wanted to talk about it when we got to Suicide Squad, but the other thing, too, is if for some reason, again, we haven't seen it at the moment of this recording, but if for some reason the Suicide Squad movie is not received well by all critics or overall by fans, in an alternate universe where Suicide Squad was good or was received well by fans, you'd have people saying, so they can do Suicide Squad right, but they can't even get their flagship characters right. Like, there's no winning, no matter what the outcome of good or bad these movies turn out, because it's always going to be an uphill battle with these people.
Not with the internet out there, for sure. Everyone's always going to find something to complain about, because that is just their favorite thing to do.
Well, I'm about to do a little bit of bragging on my end. I need to feel like I'm right for once.
Okay, go ahead. Feel like you're right.
A fan theory regarding Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad has been debunked by the director himself. What theory that I had been shitting on for fucking months that people kept bringing up to me like, what do you think about this? I'm like, no, it's not fucking real. They're not going to do that. And the reason I was so sure that was not the case, because if you go back and you look at one of the earliest articles linking back to this theory, you see what their evidence is, and it's fucking nonsense. It's not blatant enough to where you're like, you know what? Maybe the studio did put that in there. Oh, maybe well, let's see what the fucking theory is.
So the original fans theory stated that Jason Todd, the second Robin, was in fact the Joker in the DC cinematic universe.
Because the little tattoos kind of lined up to where the R would be, and then like the damage thing meant Jason Todd because his head is damaged, so it's actually Jason Todd in control. It was the fucking dumbest thing that I'm glad it's not fucking real, because it was not a good idea. I don't know, it's a stupid fan theory. It's one of those like Like, it's a fucking fan fiction. That's the equivalent of fan fiction material right there.
That'd be such a good fan fiction.
It can be a good fan fiction, but it can stay there.
Somebody write that fan fiction. I'd read it. So how did this get debunked, Daniel? Would you like to share with the world?
I would. The director told WSVN-TV Miami, quote, "It ain't the case," and he called the Jason Todd theory, quote, "the most ridiculous," end quote, rumor he had heard about the film. He's like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. But not everyone is happy with the fact that this is not Jason Todd.
I guess not.
Or that it's been debunked.
I don't know why.
I don't know why, but this brings us to this week's Nerd Rage Reaction! I gotta power up for a long time. My shirt's ripping, rocks are moving, mountains are crumbling, volcanoes are erupting, whirlpools are creating in the ocean.
That would happen too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know why. All these, like, I gotta blow up the moon too and not have it have any effect on the world.
Just show up the next episode.
Yeah, just there it is.
So Nerd Rage Reaction, for any new listeners out there, it is a quote or a comment on the internet that we find, that we found funny, that we found probably not sensible, or something that we just pick at.
Probably not sensible.
We're not going to give you the name of the person that said it. You can go out and dig for yourself if you'd like. But here's the quote from this week's Nerd Rager.
"That would be far too interesting to be in this movie."
But if they did that, they're not respecting the material, and this is why the DC movies suck. They're not respecting the history of the characters.
Of course. And both those quotes would have come from the same person.
The same fucking person. The same exact person. I would have had it in that same alternate universe. I would have been reading that fucking quote right here. Although I'd be on their side, because I fuck that fucking theory.
Oh, man.
I stick to a side. And I was against this from the beginning, and I'm glad it's not a thing.
I hope this person goes out and writes that fan fiction so I can read it.
Yeah, why don't they write it?
Yeah.
If that idea is so interesting,
They should.
Why don't you watch the Suicide Squad movie, do a rewrite where you work in the fucking Suicide Squad and Jason Todd being the Joker, figure out how you want to do that, because it's not going to work, but figure it out, and then put it out on the internet and see exactly how interesting it is.
Love it. They should. And I will read it. Just make sure the Batman and Catwoman are in love in there, and we'll be fine.
All of the stylized characters, nope, not interesting enough.
Nope.
Like, when the first designs for all of these characters came out, and they were so different from the comics, you heard Nerd Ragers. Like, that does not look like... This is like Hot Topic, the movie. And instead, it's no, that's not different enough. They would not do that. Like, what do you want?
Just curious, what are you going to do when that one day rolls around that our Nerd Rager is actually a listener of the show?
They can continue listening. And I'm sure there's been Nerd Ragers that they've agreed with. I'm sure it's been out there. There's no way it's not, because everyone's got a different opinion. But, I mean, it's fun. It's still fun. It doesn't take away from the fun, even if you agree with this person.
Well, anyway, I am relieved that this is not the case, because that would have been really difficult to work in Harley in there, too, and it would just be a mess. Mm-hmm. And you were right. Good for you.
Thank you.
I have given you the Breisner for being correct.
Yes! I got this week's Breisner.
Except I have to take it back because I'm always right.
I thought I wasn't too humble in my win there.
No. But you held the Breisner for a hot second, so...
I did.
There you go.
It's on record.
So as we mentioned earlier, we are starting to see critic reviews of this movie, and they're not the greatest.
So far.
And we think we know the reason why.
Possibly.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers hired Trailer Park, the team that cut the first full Suicide Squad trailer together, to make the cut of the movie itself.
So to remind Broquettes what two cuts we're talking about and what full-length trailer means, the one that they showed off at San Diego Comic-Con was not the official trailer. So here's a sample of that first clip of Suicide Squad.
So that's it, huh? We're the Patsies. We're some kind of Suicide Squad.
Let's go save the world.
And that also tells the tone as well that they were going to go with in this new movie. And here's a clip of the second one, and I'm sure it'll click as soon as you hear it.
Hi, boys.
Deadshot. Guy shoots people. He's a crocodile, and he eats people. Burns people. You're possessed by a witch, and she's just crazy.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. It's the voices. I'm kidding. That's not what they really said.
Very different tone from the first that we've seen. And of course, there was a massive fan reaction to the second trailer.
Right, the second one by the company Trailer Park. That's the one that everyone saw. They loved it. They thought it was more fun and it was great. And it fit the tone of what they wanted to see in Suicide Squad. And I think even we said that it was an excellent trailer. And they are great trailers. But it seems like this new cut ordered by the studio was because of this is what they're saying. The reception of Batman v Superman caused the studio to go panic. Just to immediately go into panic mode.
Right.
And say, holy shit, we need to make sure that Suicide Squad doesn't meet the same demise or the same reaction. So they saw that people really liked that cut of that first and probably second trailer, first full and second trailer, not that first clip that we showed, which was just like a teaser. But they hired them back and said, do that for the entire movie. And for that, we'll need to do some reshoots to fit into your cut, what you want to do. And they're saying that that's what David Ayer and crew had to go back and film again, just 2.5-3 months ago, to make this version of the movie fit.
Of course, this meant that at the end of it all, you have the director's cut and you have the trailer park cut. And it sounds like they viewed both and they came to an agreement where they could kind of mesh the two together. Right. Of course, it sounds like they were going to be two vastly different movies, and I'm very much hoping that we get the director's cut also. Because I've heard from a lot of people that they actually enjoy the director's cut of Batman v Superman, whereas they didn't enjoy the movie in theaters.
And we will have a review to the extended cut of Batman v Superman. I've already seen it, and I've talked very briefly about it on Twitter, but Kelly hasn't seen it yet. We haven't seen it together.
I was sleeping.
I always watch these things when you're asleep.
Yeah, I always fall asleep when you watch these things. Like, you like to wait until it's bedtime, and that's when you want to watch things. And my body's like, nope, you're old. And I'm like, okay.
My brief summary on Batman v Superman real quick. The Ultimate Edition is a more complete and better film overall. There are some minor cuts in there, which we'll go into specifics on later, that I would have kept compared to the theatrical cut, and some changes that I would have also made. But overall, it is a more complete movie. It does go into the backgrounds of Lex Luthor a lot more, so you kind of see where the connections are with the extra characters that we saw. The lady at the trial from near the beginning of the movie, where she alleged that Superman came into the country and there was just destruction. The guy that got branded, there's a whole side story to him as well. The guy that got branded by Batman at the beginning. But I can tell you, audiences would not have sat through all of that. Right. They would not have had the patience. They already didn't like that it took so long, quote unquote, to get to the Batman-Superman fight. This would have just tipped it over the edge. But on the Suicide Squad thing, as you mentioned, yeah, they screened this to audiences, both cuts, and it got to the point where even the audiences were split on which cut they liked. So that's where, again, as you said, they came into an agreement between the two versions and kind of meshed them together. And David Ayer still, on Twitter, stands behind the version that we're getting in theaters.
Well, that's a positive note, at least, that he does stand behind it so strongly. However, Suicide Squad currently only holds a 35% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Here's the flip-flop, Kelly. Where now critics, if you're against Warner Brothers doing well in these movies, now critics matter. Now you're going to look at the 35% and say, ha, I knew it, it's a bad movie. But if it's a movie that you were looking forward to, let's say you're a Star Wars fan and Rogue One gets a 35%. Well, I don't listen to critics. I form my own opinion.
Of course.
Go in your comment section right now on Facebook, friends, and see what your friends are saying about the negative reaction to Suicide Squad, if you have comic book friends out there. And watch that flip-flop between the two sides, between I form my own opinion and between I told you so, critics are right on this one.
I would be really interested to see what fan reviews are after this weekend, to see how much that number changes. Because what was it just recently where it was like tanking with critics but doing really well with fans?
Probably Batman v Superman.
Was it Batman v Superman? I remember there was some movie where it was like 60% difference between the two of them. And I think we might see something similar to that with this movie.
We might. I mean, people that saw it early at the premiere are saying positive things about it.
Good.
Fans that got early screenings as well are saying good things about it. But there's also, of course, the regular critics that are panning it a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and we will have our full review of Suicide Squad next week, spoilers and all, and we'll attach it to the very end of the episode just to give you all the weekend and the week to watch it as well.
And like we mentioned with every big movie premiere, guys, if you happen to see it this weekend, please, please, please be careful about where you're talking about it and who you're talking about it to. You could be walking through the mall, something Daniel was commenting, because we're not going to the first showing of the evening, we're going to the second showing. And Daniel was saying we need to show up later, that way everybody who's coming out of the movie won't be spoiling anything. And yeah, you may think nobody's listening, but just by mentioning something, oh, remember that cool part when? And now you've just spoiled the movie for somebody. So before you're actively going out and talking about it in public, give us like 2 weeks or so.
Right. Yeah. Don't go into out of the theater talking it with your friends, going through a. Wait till you get in the car and talk about it then, because you're going to be spoiling it to people in the vicinity. Don't go into like the GameStop next door, to your comic shop, talking about it with your friend. I like that part where Amanda Waller hired Deathstroke to catch the Suicide Squad after the credits. I don't know if that's what happened, but if it does, I'm an asshole like right now.
Just spoil
to
it,
myself.
or you're a psychic. Dun dun dun.
But yeah, don't do that. Don't be a dick. Give
Don't
it
be that guy.
at least 2 weeks.
And with that, guys, that does do it for our news this week. It was a very small news week.
Yeah, very light this week.
You didn't let me pick any news.
Well, you can add on to the news right now before our Patreon shoutouts.
Okay. So, guys, Walmart currently has little girls' clothes on sale, $2 to $3 for back to school.
Are we sponsored by Walmart?
No, but I'm just letting you know the news that I read on my Facebook.
All right.
There is a couple, been married 75 years. They got married when they were out of high school, eloped. And the father said, if this lasts more than a month or more than a year, I'll pay you $100. And here they are 75 years later. Just renewed their vows.
When you told me that, I wondered, did he ever get his $100?
That's what I wondered too. I'd be like, fucking pay up, Dad. It's been a year. Give me my $100.
One of my old bosses said that if you and I got married, my old GameStop boss, that he would buy us a television.
I'm still waiting for that TV.
Still waiting for it. Never happened.
I think we even went back to him. We're like, we're engaged now. Are you going to get us a TV? And he just laughed.
Yeah, he just laughed.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my TV. But, I mean, granted, nobody ever thought you were going to get married, Daniel.
Yeah, I guess so.
I had to push real hard. I threw some hints, like, all over the place. I remember I used to wake up and be like, so you want to get married, like, today? And you'd look at me and just be like, no. I don't ever want to get married. It was harsh, man.
I guess so. I don't...
It was harsh. To my female heart.
Your female mind?
Yes.
Not just regular mind, female mind?
Stop it. I am allowed to talk about female hearts and female minds. You cannot.
What else did you read on Facebook?
I watch a lot of dog videos on Facebook. Like, I saw this cat who was raised by a husky, and so the cat thought he was a dog, and he would just, like, run around and play with the dogs and pant and shit, and I'm like, but you're a cat. That's
where I'd be split, because I don't like cats, but if a cat acted like a dog, I think I might like that cat.
Mm-hmm. Except she'd still be a cat.
Yeah, I don't know. Inside, though. Like, it'd be one of those stories, it'd be like Babe. Where Babe was a sheep herder, but he was a pig. That's exactly what it would be like.
That was awesome.
I'd do a little dance if he got sick.
Speaking of pigs, my parents are about to buy a pig.
I'm definitely going to do a dance for that pig then.
Will you feed him food from the freezer and sing to him?
Did that happen in Babe?
Yeah.
Food from the freezer?
Yeah, because the pig got sick and he wouldn't eat, so he went to the freezer because his wife had left him all those packaged meals. Remember? Mm-hmm. And then he was heating it up and trying to feed it to the pig. And then the pig still wouldn't eat. So, like, he left it on the table and started dancing for him. And then he, like, turned around and the pig had eaten all the food and, like, ran out. Come on, get to know your baby.
It was the best song. I just remember the song. Like
I had words
to make a day for you,
I'd sing you a morning
golden and true.
And then all the farm animals are watching him afterwards, like, how are you doing, old man?
He was so embarrassed at the end of that.
Just because the animals are watching him.
They're all
great. I love it. And then they came out with Gordy. Did you ever watch Gordy?
Was that like the poor man's Babe?
Yes. It was terrible, but I still watched that a lot. It was a pig that could talk to people.
All right.
Like, the pig talked to... Anyway, and then there was Gordy, and then there was Gordy for president or something.
Charlotte's Web was another one.
Charlotte's Web was good, too. I think I cried so much in that one. Because, like, she loses all her babies. Doesn't she die in the end, too?
Yeah, and all the babies leave.
Yeah.
Like, what was the pig's name?
Wilbur.
Wilbur's like, I'm going to take care of you like I did, like your mom took care of me. They're like, no, we're leaving. And they all left on like the little, little web things.
Their little silk parachutes.
And he's like, where are you going? And he's so sad, but one spider stays behind.
Yeah, and then the spider used to like write his name. And why are you making me so sad talking about pig movies?
Because your parents are getting a little babe.
I know, I'm so excited. Except they don't always stay little. I was reading a thing about like you buy mini pigs and they still grow to be like 50 pounds.
So what kind was the one in Babe? Was it just not a fully grown pig?
It probably wasn't a fully grown pig. I saw a pig, and I don't remember his name, but it was a pig that they sent into, like, old folks' home. He was, like, a therapy pig. Oh, his name was Chris P. Bacon.
That's mean.
That was so mean,
awful.
right? I was like, why would you name your pig that? But, because I was watching, that's what it was, I was watching newscasters cracking up in the middle of it, and I guess the guy hadn't read it before, because he's talking, and he's like, and then we see Chris P. Bacon, and then he just starts laughing, and he just dies. It was great. It was a funny video. Anyway, that's all my Facebook news. I actually have a lot more Facebook news, but I won't. I know a lot about the Kardashians and Taylor Swift right now.
Yeah, we don't need to hear about that.
I mean, I could tell you about it.
We don't.
Okay, but I mean,
Taylor Swift had a comic book.
I don't care about that. I just care about the Kardashians and Taylor Swift and Kanye West. I learned about Beyonce and Becky with the hair. There is no Becky with the hair.
I don't know what that is.
There's no Becky with the hair, guys. Becky with the hair is a myth.
I don't know what that is.
I will, apparently, Beyonce
I don't want to know what that is.
You told me I could pick the news, and I'm picking the news. Okay?
We went through that already.
Taco Bell is releasing a Cheetos burrito.
I'm not buying that either.
Okay, but Taco Bell's releasing a Cheetos burrito, trying to fight with Burger King. I think they should just team up and make a mac and Cheetos burrito.
So Cheetos is cheating on Burger King with Taco Bell.
Cheetos is just getting its name out there, man. Cheetos don't give no fucks. Cheetos is selling out left and right. Well, I mean, you already have, like, Doritos, which I found out if you go to Taco Bell and order their nachos, like their Nacho Bel Grande thing, which is, like, chips on the bottom, and ask them to switch it out for Doritos, they'll do it for free.
But they already have... So, is that Doritos partnership still going on?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Shit.
That's fine.
And then they're going to get, like, Cheetos shit in there, too.
That's still disgusting. I would not order a Dorito
so
anything, but... Well, regular Taco Bells, too. But, to add Doritos and Cheetos on top of it...
Yeah.
Unless they want to sponsor. I mean, then I will...
The only two kinds of people beyond us who go to Taco Bell are people who are high at 2 in the morning and people who are drunk at 2 in the morning.
It's perfect food for that.
It's perfect. When you're high, you just want Cheetos and Doritos. It's great. So this is the best. And the Cheetos burrito is only $1. Like, you're poor, too. So there we go. I happen to love Taco Bell since I was a wee lass.
You know what we need the return of? And we should have it next week. We should have the return of Mumble Nini.
Oh, Mumble Nini, man. I've retired because it hurts my voice.
Okay, Kelly Hamill.
Unless they need me to do the Mumble Nini joke. Then I would record that, but only if Kevin Conroy comes back too.
Maybe we'll do it for Suicide Squad.
Oh man,
that's like an OG broquette thing. The Mumble Nini.
Yeah.
We haven't done that for like over 50 episodes. It only happened in
like 4 episodes, didn't it? It wasn't really a lot. I don't even know if I remember Mumble Nini. Have to call her up, see what's going on. I'm gonna be like that Facebook friends that like, hey, how's it going?
I need something from you.
Yep. Ugh.
We haven't spoken in a year.
Fucking hate that. The worst, okay, I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox. The worst is when they contact me and it's not even something for them, it's something for a friend. Like, oh, can you do this for my friend? No, I can't even do it for you. And we were friends, and I have never met that person.
On to the Patreon shoutouts for the week before our comic book highlight. Mm-hmm. Top of the month, this week it goes to Alexander on Twitter at Swordfish Show. You can also check out his YouTube Let's Plays at purpleswordfish.com, and also Lourdes and Katie.
Thank you guys so much for your support. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, for as little as $1 a month, that's 25 cents an episode, you can support the podcast monetarily. This helps with all our uploading costs and alphonic costs. Is it alphonic? Alphonic, which makes my voice super cool. It's just small ways that you can help support us so that we can get out a better podcast for you.
We also want to thank DecalAvenue.com for the help in getting our decals out for our broquettes for the Patreon backers at the $5 tier.
If you guys decide that you want to be a supporter as well, you can go to patreon.com/thereasonsimebroke and sign up there.
Get your monthly shout out.
But of course, guys, our podcast will always be free. The best thing you can do for us is leave us a comment, a review, let other people know about us so that they can listen to us as well. We are so close to being in the top, 50%?
Top 50%?
Top 50% of podcasts.
Yep, of Libsyn.
Yes. So close to that. Let your friends know. Tell them to download us. Tell them that we are the funniest people. Correction, that Kelly is the funniest person you've ever listened to in your whole life.
And the comic book highlight this week is Adventure Time Comics #1. And this is a movement by Boom Studios in which they want to give creators their characters and have them tell their stories. So all of these are writing and art by...
You have Art Baltazar, Katie Cook, Tony Millionaire, that's a fucking great name, and Kat Lay. So this is going very much along the lines of what Bee and Puppy Cat were doing, where it's made up of multiple stories, in this case 4, each one written, drawn, and colored by a different person.
We got a taste of this in the Adventure Time ongoing, where you'd have the main story for Adventure Time, and sometimes it would span 3, 4, 5 issues, and then in the back you'd have like a little mini story. And what this comic is doing is it's taking mini stories and just putting them all in a book, which I think is a better format for people like us and for kids as well, because we ended up dropping the main Adventure Time comic when they shifted creative teams. And unfortunately, and we gave it a shot. I think we gave it like 10 issues, and we ended up dropping eventually because the stories just weren't there. The artwork wasn't there as well. And instead, what we're getting here is we're getting different takes on the characters, different stories that they can tell that aren't tied into a monthly event or a monthly story. And instead, you just get like 5, 6 pages, and then you move on to the next. And as we mentioned, this one does have 4 different stories in the book.
This kind of format can be really good or really bad for a book. I think some of the stories I enjoyed. There was that weird one with the lion things.
With Goliad?
Yeah, which I didn't even like the episode to begin with. And then the story followed them, and it just didn't really wrap up very well, in my personal opinion. But the other ones, like with the toothpaste fairy, that was pretty cute. With the princesses and Lumpy Space Princess, I really enjoyed that one. I'm waiting for them to get somebody who just has the same passion for Ice King that I have and throw in an Ice King story. And, you can, if you find people who really love the show and really love and appreciate the characters, I think we're going to see some knockout mini stories.
I definitely prefer this. It's more like a Bee and Puppy Cat format that we got from that comic, in which sometimes it was a 1 to 2 page story, and you're like, oh, cool, and then you move on to the next one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all the different creators that they're going to get on Adventure Time. Maybe we'll see someone like Dustin Nguyen on there, who is doing some work for Boom Studios as well. So we'll see what they give us moving forward. And that will do it for the show this week, Brokettes. A shorter episode, but as we mentioned, next week we will have the full spoiler review for Suicide Squad. And this month, in the month of August, we are going to have our very first creator interview, our first official post-Patreon guest on the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, our very first one.
Mr. Tim Yates.
Tim Yates coming to you this month. Definitely check it out. It will be releasing, I want to say, 2 episodes from now. And that is all thanks to our Patreon backers. With our goal of hitting Alphonic, we also got the goal of being able to have guests on the show. So even though it wasn't specific to that goal, that extra help does help us in doing extra things outside of what's just listed on there.
If there's anything you guys heard on this show that you want to talk to us more about, maybe let us know your frustrations with Pokemon Go, or maybe tell us how we can play it better, because I am still brand new. Don't tell me which team to pick, because I've already picked no team. But you can hit us up on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or at Kelli. We love interacting with you guys. We love talking to you more about the things that make us broke and that we love.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week, Brokettes, and for all of the support and help. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
We'll see you next week.